Hi, I'm Allred. Welcome to Inspired by Pinterest, where I browse around Pinterest looking for amazing ideas from crafters, bloggers, companies from all over the world, and bring them to life each week in an episode. And as always, I say this every time. I'm excited to share this idea, but honestly, I am. I even love going back and watching the episode because sometimes I forget what I've shared. And so today I'm going to be talking about creating your own vinyl stencils and masks. I've had a lot of requests for this because I use this technique on a lot of different things. Everything from fabric. I used it on my embroidery hoop episode. I used it on my arrows episode. I've used it on sign episodes in the past. So we're going to go through kind of the basics of using vinyl. Now, I know some of you may not own an electronic cutter like a Cricut or Silhouette or a Craftwell machine, but there are a lot of people that probably you live by that may do vinyl cutting for an inexpensive price. Just put the word out. You're looking. A lot of times you can find a friend that can do it for you, or professional vinyl cutters. I had quite a few. That was a trend in my neighborhood for a while. So let's go ahead and start with my pin board called Signs and Creative Signage. Now, I love collecting ideas for signs. I don't have a lot around my house, but I have a lot I want to make. So the first one was featured on 1825.blogspot.com, and it's actually one of my favorite crafters, Barn Owl Primitives. She does beautiful signs, and she's super busy all the time, especially during the holidays. People love picking up her signs. Now, this is an example. In the picture, you can see she used vinyl as a stencil. And I'll explain that here in a minute. Now let's go to another one of my favorite pins. Now you remember our cute Shelly Smith from House of Smiths. This was featured in her gallery wall episode. She did this darling sign that showed all the places where they've lived before in a kind of subway art form. And she did the same thing. She created the subway art with vinyl and used it as a stencil. Now let me show you a couple ideas using vinyl as a mask instead. So this next one is from sunlitspaces.com. She created this darling Coca-Cola sign on some reclaimed wood, and I love that. So basically what the vinyl's doing is she's painted the base coat, put the vinyl down, and then painted over top of it. But she'll peel that vinyl away to reveal that base coat again. It creates a mask. And so I thought that was a cute idea. This is one of the signs I've been dying to do. It's on my to-do list when the holidays are over. It's the You and Me sign you may have seen around from my cute friend from House of Hepworths. Now, as always, you can go to my blog, allreddesign.net, to get links to any of the pins I reference in today's episode. So now that I've shared what has inspired you, let me explain a little bit more about a mask versus a stencil. So first of all, let's do a little bit of a vinyl basics. And I know we've talked about this in past episodes, but obviously this one I've started. You can't really see the whole design because I've only started to partially what's called weed out the part that I don't want. And I'm creating a mask. So I'm pulling out all of the surrounding vinyl I don't need anymore. And I'll tell you, this will be your best friend, this cute little hook. They come in different colors, sizes, different companies put it out different ways, but it's got this little pointy edge, and it's perfect for hooking right into that vinyl and peeling it right up. So all of these spaces we don't need, and the same with right here. Now, one of the tricks I'll tell you when you're weeding a large space like this is I like to take an X-Acto knife and cut it down into sections so that I'm not having to get around all the big words and the little words at once. So rather than tediously show you that on air, you get the general idea of weeding. Now, if I were creating a mask, like I am here, again, this is a mask as well, because it leaves the words that I want to cover up my paint, but I'll peel those away to reveal what I've masked. Now, this one I've created using a stencil. So I've actually weeded out the center of all of the words on this one. And I've done this cute sign here is the finished product. Now don't judge me because I obviously couldn't spell late at night when I did this project. So caffeine is spelled wrong. I already know that. You don't need to tell me. I've got to figure out how to fix it. So it's wrong here on the vinyl. So I'll have to fix that section as well. But what I'll put down is actually I'll paint the base coat as well here, or the top coat that I want, and then I'll paint a second coat, and that's what the color of the letters will be. So now that I've weeded that, the next step always, whether you're doing a stencil or you're doing a mask, is you're going to want to put transfer tape over it. Now, transfer tape is a semi-permanent tape. It'll start peeling the letters right off so that you can easily place it on the project that you're doing so that you don't have issues with getting all the little itty bitty spaces. Now on this one, it would be really easy for me to swap out the letters that I've misspelled, just so you know, I can fix it on this one. So here, I'm going to show you a really fun, quick way to do that. So I'm just going to take my welcome. I would not dare try and place that freehand. So I'm just going to cut a section of this transfer tape. And you can reuse transfer tape. In fact, I sat there the other night doing a ton of little chalkboard signs. You might remember my cute holiday faux chalkboards. And I sat putting vinyl on the chalkboard, and it takes, the more you use the transfer tape, the nicer I think it is. It peels right off just right and comes right off. Then you're gonna need a flat surface to kind of rub that up against. I like using old like keys from hotel rooms or your iTunes cards when you're done with them to rub that off. And then when I'm ready, I'll just peel that off and it'll pick up that vinyl just perfect. And you notice I didn't cover it all because I think I can wing this bottom section. As I say that, and it doesn't come off. So then I'll place it right on my project that I want to do. Now, go back to my embroidery hoop episode and you'll see what that welcome turned out to look like. But here, let's do this example. So I have this really cute, just inexpensive canvas bag that I picked up at, I believe, Walmart. And then I've got this really cute saying. It's a holiday saying, but it's a funny one. It says, "It's that time of year when it's good to be fat and jolly." So obviously, look at that. I'm going to be ahead of my holidays by the time I need this in December. So now I'm creating, this is my stencil. So peel it, I like to peel it off at an angle to keep it, usually picks up and leaves what it needs. So now I don't need that. I actually save these. I love putting paint on them. And then I'm going to center that right on my bag where I want it. Most people would say to iron the bag, but that requires an extra step on my part. So I'm just going to and it actually adheres pretty good to fabric. You want to make sure that's on there really good. Again, like a credit card, something flat to kind of make sure you get all those little pieces down. And then I'm going to take that corner of the transfer tape and peel that. Got to get a good corner. Fabric it sticks to wood much better. Okay, if you can pick up a little bit of that corner and get it going, that's usually all it takes. So I'll start peeling that away to reveal the design. Now be patient with this part of the process. A little patient goes a long ways to a really cute design. Now I'm gonna I like pulling out my tool to kind of hold down sections of that. Now don't get discouraged. Of course I picked the most detailed sign or image to put down. So you get the general idea, and this will reveal, so then I can then add. I like using acrylic paint in this situation, the same as if I were doing the sign. Another fun thing, so here we would just stencil in and remove it, and it would reveal the image. Here's a fun piece of wood if you wanted to get crazy and do your masking. Now we also showed you a fun masking technique with our friends from Hazel and Ruby with their fun new stencils, or masks I should say. They call them stencils, but they're really a mask. So I've got my welcome sign. I'm going to place this right on my wood. Now, of course, I probably wouldn't leave this awesome particle board its original color, but for example's sake, we'll go ahead and that should, once you get that down, peel that off. Now you can brush on your paint, you can spray on the paint. I'm a big fan of spray paint, except in Utah it's not so good in January. And my family doesn't like me spray painting in the house. I've tried. My son was going to move out last time I did it because it was down by his bedroom. I don't see why people don't enjoy that smell. So you're going to want to leave that on the surface. Once I peel this off really carefully, I have ripped a few designs. You can usually salvage them, but sometimes it's just easier to be nice when you're putting it down. Now I can reuse this piece of transfer tape. If I were using it that moment, I don't ever store it and save it for later. So then you've got to just make sure that you get this down as good as you can. You might have ripples in it, that's okay. I found sometimes cutting the ripple so that then it folds down nicely, works well. And then we're just going to want to sometimes you just need to lift the design and start it again. So then we could take something as simple as our Color Shine spray. This is for example's sake, we'll pin. So this is the teal. Now Heidi's done this quite a bit using her stencils, but I just wanted to show that you could do it with customized vinyl. So forsake we get that finished. Once we let that dry, then when you go to peel that up, it's going to reveal this really cute welcome. And I'm trying to be really careful because it's wet. Aren't we like crafters? Heaven forbid we go wait until we have all of our supplies and it's dried. How many of you don't ever take more than one trip to haul your bags into the house? So there, that shows you the masking technique. So it's simple as that. Get creative. Again, vinyl's a great, inexpensive way to customize your own stencils and masks. If you have any ideas, feel free to email me or post your questions to the Facebook wall for my craft channel. We'll answer them. And as always, you can go to my blog, allreddesign.net, to get links to anything I've referenced, and I'll give you some more tips on my blog. So I appreciate you stopping by, and I hope I've inspired you.